This is one of the most heartbreaking stories I have ever researched. The story of George Everett Green, who was born in 1880 in Tottenham, London, to Charles Green, a tailor, and mother Amelia, who was a laundress. The family lived in poverty. They lived in lodging houses in the Tottenham suburb of London. He had an older sister, Margaret, and a younger brother, Walter. But their lives changed in 1886 as the parents deserted them, and the children were admitted to the Old Parish School and then to Enfield Farm School, run by the Edmonton Poor Law Union, a local government institution. Their father passed away in January 1888. In May 1894, their mother induced Margaret, George's older sister, aged 17, to leave her job at the farm school for a place in service, and in retaliation, the union discharged the boys into their mother's care. Within a month, their mother was unable to pay the rent on her room, and she and the boys began to sleep rough. In July 1894, George and his brother Walter were admitted to the East End Juvenile Mission of Dr. Barnardo's at their mother's request. George was described in the admission documents as well conducted, but with a cast in his left eye and a peculiar appearance. During this time, thousands of destitute and orphan children were sent from England to Canada. And this is exactly what happened to George and Walter, who arrived in Canada on the 21st of March 1895. George was sent on the 3rd of April to a bachelor farmer in Norfolk County, Ontario, who returned him to the Barnardo Receiving Home in Toronto within the trial period of a month, because the boy's defective vision meant that he could not drive a team. On the 7th of May, Green was dispatched to a second place near Owen Sound to live with a single woman named Helen Findlay. Since her brother's death the previous summer, Findlay had run the family farm alone. Neighbours who saw Green soon after he arrived described him as clean, healthy, quiet and backward. For 7 months after his arrival on the Findlay farm, on the 9th of November 1895, George passed away. A coroner's inquiry found that his death resulted from ill treatment at the hands of Helen Findlay, and from her not giving him proper care and treatment, food and nourishment during his sickness in her house. And Findlay was charged with manslaughter. Neighbours reported that for several months they had observed the boy inadequately clothed and fed, and forced by physical violence to do work beyond his strength, and made to sleep in a barn as punishment. But none, however, had seen fit to break community solidarity and attempt to assist him. Medical testimony was conflicting. Green had been unable to move from his bed for a week before his death. His body bore wounds caused by physical violence. An autopsy of his lung showed a previous history of tuberculosis. The question for the jury became, did Green die as a result of criminal neglect and physical assault by Helen Findlay? Findlay's defense argued that Green died not from cruel treatment but of inherited diseases, and that he had been bodily sick and mentally retarded. The jury disagreed in the first instance. Only in the second trial the following year, when Findlay was no longer charged with manslaughter but with common assault, she was found guilty and sentenced to 1 year's detention in a reformatory. It's heartbreaking to think that George died in such a cruel way. So rest in peace, George. You will be remembered.